Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Captain Quasar, and welcome back to another live stream. Boy, do I hate daylight savings, but here I am. For you. But let's go, let's go. I realized I set the time for this stream for 10 when I started it, like when I first set the stream. And then I was like, oh, I messed up. Because I was just sitting here ready to go, and I was like, what's happening? I was looking at it and I was like, oh, what's wrong? And I was like, oh, it's because it's not 10, it's 9. Yeah. You know, but at least I'll be done earlier, I guess. Good for me. But we do have some Instagram posts as always, some Reddit posts, a little news story that I kind of want to talk about briefly, and a video that we might get to from Internet Versus. Again, we've been looking at a few things from them recently, so good stuff. But let's get into it with the goofs and gaffs on my Instagram, as always. This goes out to all the skaters and all the non-skaters. You might need to hear this one too. Listen closely. This is how to Casper slide.
Casper slide tutorials. Flick the board.
Okay.
Catch it.
Sounds about
Pucker
right.
the butthole.
Necessary.
Flick out. Land.
That's it.
Find a raccoon.
Well, this part.
Domesticate it and teach it piano.
That part is actually highly necessary if you want to master the Casper flip. Mastery of the Casper flip is something that is difficult to achieve and can only be achieved while listening to sweet tunes played on the ivories by your raccoon companion. Just saying. Does this guy have any other? Oh, he does have raccoon. Let me hear the raccoons playing. I need to hear how good the raccoon actually is. Dude looks like he does fucked up art of the raccoon killing people and like having sex and stuff. I'm not gonna keep looking through this page. Yeah, that's crazy. Hi, I have crippling depression. There is nowhere in my mind that feels safe. I spend several hours every single day just trying to find a reason to live. Panic attacks all nights instead of sleeping is so fun. Well, I mean, I see the... I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I'm sorry to hear that, Jonathan Paul Wiggins. I hope you get better. The fucking Casper slide was sick as fuck. The raccoon's also sick as fuck. The art, it's sick for in a different way, in a different sense. I gotta be honest. We're only 4 minutes in. Oopsie daisy. God damn. But here's something else. Here's something that just took such a turn so quickly. I was not expecting that at all. My bad. Oopsie. Incoming olive green eyes. Low intensity. This is Dr. Boxer Watchler. God damn it, I can't say this name. Dr. Boxer Watchler. We've looked at this account before. He does eye surgeries on people and changes their eye color drastically. It's horrific. And all these people are just fine beforehand. This guy has a little bit of an intense gaze. You know, he's got an intense stare that he's shining my way, but I think that intense gaze is only magnified once we actually get the olive green eyes. It just is increased.
My eyes turn to olive green from brown.
How excited are you?
I'm pretty excited. Feels pretty unreal right now.
Let's do it. Okay.
Like, I want to just believe it's contacts, like, and this is all just some big joke. Oh, sorry, that's the next post. Like, I really want to just believe that this is all just a big joke. But then I see these ones, and I'm like, they're clearly in an office. Oh my god. Keratopigmentation. Keratopigmentation. The Good Doctor or this guy? What's the difference at that point? I guess this guy doesn't panic, at least. Imagine going to the Good Doctor and getting your eye stabbed out because he panicked. Can't deal with that. That's not me. I'm gonna ask for a different surgeon when I come in. No anesthetic. But what do we think?
Alright, great. Let's have you sit on up.
Ready to see your new green eyes?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
It's because they lack the natural I don't know what you would call it. The natural like formations within the iris, like the way that there's like kind of like if you take a close picture of an iris. Great picture. Here we go. Oh, it's so low quality. What the hell? Should not be. What? Okay, there we go. It like doesn't have any of these little like formations within the eye. It looks like just one solid color. Like it just looks like a harsh solid color, like a contact.
Wow. Those look natural too.
Yeah, right?
I disagree. I highly disagree. Maybe you can't see that well right now. Maybe it's a little blurry.
Feel that.
Can you change it back? What do they do? What does he do if that happens? If the guy looks at his eyes and goes, I'm not really feeling it. Can we go back? Can we go back to the original?
It's quite incredible.
Did you think it was ever possible to have green eyes?
No, I didn't.
I just don't even know what to say. Natural looking, olive green eyes. Color eyes is quick and life-changing for some people to at last have the color they always wanted. We can rate desired intensity levels of each color. Low intensity, more subtle, a medium intensity, a moderate effect, or a high intensity with high impact. The procedure is overall very safe. Sometimes scratchiness or light sensitivity that usually goes away after a couple of days, if even experienced at all. No infections have occurred in the past 16 years. I mean, that's good to hear and all, but I don't know if it's actually like accomplishing anything. How much does this cost? This procedure involves placing the desired ink under the surface of the cornea. This isn't iris implants that can have complications. I'm a cornea surgeon for the 27 years. I would not perform iris implants. Color eyes keratopigmentation is the only eye color change procedure that I am comfortable performing because of its high safety record. More info at mycoloreyes.com. Just give them a free ad, I guess. I'm just like,
What color are you getting?
Evergreen.
music playing. Evergreen. I would only trust somebody to do it if they had it done to them. It's like you can't go home. I almost can't watch this. Oh, it's like going to a tattoo shop and the guy you're getting a tattoo from doesn't have any tattoos. It's like, not that it would make him a bad artist, but it just feels like, I don't know. How into this are you? Are you just in it for the money? I don't know. Yeah, just basically injecting the eye with ink is crazy. Can you only do natural eye colors? Can I get it like purple? Can I get my eye like orange or something? Like a bright orange? I wonder what the limitations are there. What kind of colors can I actually get? I don't know why it goes into all these bobsledding stuff. Maybe it was someone, I don't know. Oh, overcoming keratoconus. News coverage of the Olympic gold bobsledder Stephen Holcomb. Talking about eyes some more. It's a beautiful thing. Getting your eye color changed, I guess. Okay, I have to be honest, when I first saw this, it kind of pissed me off. Then it grew on me ever so slightly, and then it pissed me off again. This is a very accurate comment. My favorite DMV cartoon is on Shh. Sorry, I read that so wrong. My favorite DMV cartoon is on Shh. I thought it was gonna be is on shit, but that's not what it said at all. You know, when I see stuff like this, I think one of my problems is it just reminds me that I don't need to be so much of a perfectionist. That's not a problem that I have with the content, but it's like something that I need to remind myself of, because it's like, if people are releasing stuff like this, just do it. Just put something out. Who cares? But here, let's check this out.
Can I get the chicken tender combo with a red icy and some Mikey Mikes?
Your fat ass.
Girl, shut up.
I was just having medium popcorn.
No drink? Mouth about to be dry as shit, boy.
Not for real.
I'm not really that thirsty.
Can you add another icy, please?
Sure.
You know I got into a shootout, right?
Oh my gosh, for real?
Yeah, shit was crazy.
The background music is way too loud. It's not even background music, the ambient noise. I don't know why I said background music. I'm just like, I feel like my brain is being fried while watching this, I've got to be honest. I'm trying to like take it in, but it's just like it is quite literally an animated non sequitur. And maybe that has some kind of comedic value. I don't know. I don't know if it's meant to be comedic. I don't know what emotion it's trying to pull out of me. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'm just supposed to enjoy it. I'm just supposed to sit here and go, okay.
I was like, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, oh shit. Nigga thought shit was sweet.
I'm glad you're okay.
Okay, your total is $53.50.
I got it. Here you go. Can I?
Damn. Nah, see, I get it now. It's all about the relatability. I remember going to the last time I went to the movie theater. Whew. Whew. That'll be $53.50. Okay. Take it back. I don't want any of it then. Later. Then I run out. And then I go grab stuff, bring in my own snacks. Here's a little part 2. They're next up. They're next in line. Sorry, you have to get the follow-up. It is funny to me while high, not gonna lie. I love this dumb shit. You're deeply unfunny. Hey, what can I say?
Get 2 hot dogs and a blue icy.
And for you, sir?
Let me get a large popcorn, some pieces, and a blue icy.
Alrighty, will that be all?
Yeah,
Okay, your total is $50.50.
bet. Let me see what I got. Y'all take hundreds?
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh, can they hurry up?
Can I get 2?
At least the last one had like a little bit of a joke. Y'all take hundreds? Maybe that was the punchline. Bro's just big flexing at the movie theater. I genuinely don't know what to say about those. They're just kind of, they kept popping up on my feed and it was bothering me. So I had to share it with somebody. Here's something. A teacher showing off to his students. Now this is what training is all about. Grow them muscles. Grow that flexibility. improve that flexibility, yeah, sure, whatever. Honestly, yeah, it isn't even necessarily about growing muscles. I've been thinking about this recently. It shouldn't be about losing weight or becoming more defined or more vascular or whatever. It really should just be about your like functional strength. You know, functionality over physique. This is crazy. Going from the splits, already highly impressed. Can't do this. Are you surprised? But he goes from the splits, he's got these pads under his heels, and I just thought, okay, that's probably just to, you know, help with maybe heel bruises that you could form from staying there too long or something, I don't know. But no, I was wrong.
Oh my god.
The clapping is a little much, I will say. It was impressive, but I think I would probably, instead of clapping, just do one of these. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And that'd be about it. Bonjour, Captain. Bonjour, chat. Looking extra scrumptious today. As are you, as are you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, most of us know that, but people like Clavicular really fuck up the idea of health aesthetics. Maybe he's a bad example since he literally microdoses meth to stay thin. I've been saying this. Watch this. He's not even an original. He's not even the OG. Oh, nice. Now when I look up Clavicular Grandma, they both come up. So people know Clavicular from this image. They know Clavicular because this is like how he popped off this picture with his grandma looking for advice. On looks maxing advice. But this was quite literally, he stole this idea. Or maybe just great minds think alike. Because this image came out before. I just found this was an imager link. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there is a Reddit post for it. Yeah, or no, that was the Clavicular one. But I'm so confused. I guess this is just a meme. People were linking to it on the Reddit. I've never seen the second one. It's kind of funny. Nah, but I said this before. Whoever this guy is, this guy makes Clavicular look fucking emaciated. Like, legitimately. Now, this is what steroids can do. If you look like this well on steroids, I'm like, okay, I get it. If this is what you look like on steroids, I'm sorry. Like, you could achieve this with, like, the right diet and, like, a good pump. Like, literally. And again, not like it's even necessary, but if you are going to be going that hard, you better look like this. You think he looks like Anthony Padilla here? Maybe in like kind of the zoomed out view, but once you get in close, that is Clavicular. He's got such a baby face here too. Why would you want to look like that? I mean, it's just the, you know, it's it's not even a joke. It became a joke, but the whole idea of like beauty standards for women, and like it eventually became a joke of like people posting like the headless mannequins at like, you know, at Dillard's and being like, oh, these body standards for women are getting outrageous. And obviously the body standards that's presented in modeling and stuff like that is the actual issue. And in the same way, men at times, not overall in the same way, and it's not as prevalent, Just it's not like, I guess, presented as much as like modeling for women, but this is like the equivalent of modeling in bodybuilding competitions like Mr. Olympia and stuff like that. And so they see people like they see like old school Ronnie Coleman, and they're like, I need to achieve this. Oh God, I did it again. I pulled up another super low resolution photo. Here we go. It's like you see a photo like this, and you're like, okay, now he makes this guy look emaciated. Not true, but you get what I'm saying. It's like you always see somebody that's bigger and like, oh, I need to achieve this, become the strongest, become the biggest, become the most vascular. And it's like, that isn't athleticism. This is athleticism. Okay, go. Coming from the side. Oh, don't let him flank you. Don't let him flank you. I'll create a boundary. Watch your edge. Watch your edge. No. You let him pass. Go. Honestly, if they had this at the bar, I'd be on this for hours. I'd be challenging everybody. I feel like his range of motion is super impaired. Well, even beyond that, I mean, in modern day, sorry, going back just for a second, Ronnie Coleman's like in a wheelchair and like basically just almost completely disabled. And like, yeah, doing something like this will probably do that to you at some point. Like eventually it catches up with you. And that's why, again, it's about the function over the physique. I don't need to do reps with a car on my back. I'll let the adrenaline help me lift it off my child. Need that ever arise. But yes, this is how you reach peak athleticism, not weightlifting. Get into whatever the hell this is. A stunning goal that leaves everyone speechless. Great net from Carlos Flores at the Major D Frameries 2026. This is real table football. You can say that again. You know, when I first watched this, I didn't realize, did he already have blood on him? Sorry, no spoilers. Damn, did he actually just get a lump? No, I think that was already there. He already had a knot on his forehead from something. Maybe this was the second take. Maybe that's why.
Guys, this is fucking crazy. This is fucking crazy. Don't do this. Don't try this at home. Very, very risky. You can see. I think I got a bit of swallow here. My hair swallowed. Don't know if you can see it. You can see it. Don't try this at home.
I'm telling you, it was there before. Do you think he's replicating a thing he already did once?
Oh, very risky, but I did it. I did it. I did it. Can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see? Can't you see?
I need it to restart. I need to see if that...
Can't you see? Can't you see?
Okay, maybe not. It looks like it might be there, but it might just be the a diffusion of the glare on his forehead. Because there's the glare, there's a bit of a, a shine, a shimmer. What kind of bottle was that? It's got the Heineken too. I heard a story once from somebody who was telling me that they were once like in a fight with somebody, and that person like grabbed them and like had them kind of like pushed over, and so they had a bottle in their hand and they were trying to break it over the person, but they were going like this, so it was just like going like dink dink, and they were like, "Are you trying to break that bottle over my head?" He's like, "Yeah." Dink. Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, you know? Remember, a fight in the street's always dirty. Never come with the expectation of fighting fair. Now this one goes out to Tim Chalamet. He said theater and opera, musicals, all of he's claiming it a dying art form, in a sense. And that couldn't be more untrue with the amount of unique styles that have been presented through new media. Like the Tuna Bomber. The Tuna Bomber. You're watching a musical about the Unabomber upstairs at a bodega. Well, I guess the Unabomber isn't upstairs at a bodega. This is a POV of you upstairs at a bodega watching a musical about the Unabomber. Sorry, needed to clarify.
Got my first two bombs to north or western, but neither one of them did much. I got the next one on an airplane, but it just blew smoke. Oh God, what a joke, what a ripoff. I was a failure. I got my first two bombs to north or western, but neither one of them did much.
And you might be thinking, well, this one's just a small production. This is just two guys having a laugh. But you don't understand that it's a growing art form. Like Slam Frank, the musical. Who's heard of Slam Frank? Everybody raise your hand. Who's heard of Slam Frank? Oh.
Review from my Anne Frank Afro-Latin hip-hop musical Slam Frank. Here we go.
And here it is on the big stage.
Our own survival relied on denial, but now we're free. No more a pretender, asserting my gender, embracing my sexuality. We no longer can live this life, so to mine own self be true. Being straight was a curse that you helped me undo.
White boy had bars. I also noticed that Morgan was following Slam Frank. She needed the updates. This is gross. I think it could be, but in its satirization does a generally decent job. I'm offended on behalf of someone. I'm so confused. There's a lot of stuff out there, that's all I'm saying. See, I started off, it's interesting because I started off, it's a very complex piece of content, I will say. That guy looks like Bo Burnham. Which one? They all look a little like Bo Burnham. It's just that theater guy energy. I don't fuck with this, to be honest. Theater isn't for everybody. No, I get it. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to act like it's not offensive. I think that's inherently the point of doing something like this. Is that it's meant to be, I mean, it's a satirical form. It's one of those things where it's like, it is a satirization of multiple things, including cultural shifts in presentations within media, the shifts in theater and musicals, and the minimization of serious like themes that are done in musicals as well, like where you see things like sexual assault or other things that then get minimized into like poetic structures within like these pieces of media. And so I don't know, is it even funny? Does it make good points? Yeah, see, that's the main thing. I haven't seen it in its entirety, and I do see it asking for a lot of money, and that's kind of that's when I start raising an eyebrow. If you want to do it on a tight budget with just a little ragtag group of theater adults, feel free. But as soon as you start trying to take my dollar, that's when I raise an eyebrow. Using Anne Frank's name in this way is a huge no-no for me. I think most Dutch people would agree. Fair. I mean, that's fair. But what about Batman? Is this one better? You might prefer this one then. Sorry. I never mean to offend. That is never my intention. And that's why I bring multiple pieces from all different types. This is two musical theater writers about to ruin Batman. And honestly, it was funny because they say they're about to ruin it here. I kind of fuck with it a little bit. I kind of rock with this. I'm writing a heavy metal rock opera about the friendship between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Well, you have to actually add in secret romantic entanglings as well, just to keep the plot progressing. You need to have them, waxing poetically about each other. Waxing, right? That's where you're going too far, too much. I think that is an issue with theater, I will say, is that the fact that a lot of stuff is just an adaptation of something else. Create new original stories. Those are some of the best. Like I don't want to get the name wrong because it's something so simple. Yes, Home Street Home. Home Street Home, created by Fat Mike from NoFX, is a really good punk rock musical. And it's like an original story. I think it might be I'm not remembering it that well. It might have been an adaptation of another story. I don't quite remember. But I remember it was good. Going to a musical this Sunday, ironically about World War II. Well, then I want you to think while you're there, if they are doing a job establishing the actual importance of, which I imagine they will. That's the thing, is most of the time they do. I'd say it's newer musicals and like things like that might do a worse job. But truly think about that. Do think about if they are merely using it as a framing for their story, or if they are doing it as a means to educate. Something to think about. But again, 2 musical theater writers about to ruin Batman. And am I the only one that vibes with this? Am I the only one that likes this?
That could be in every scene. That could be every song.
I'm the Batman, watch me go.
I can't type fast enough.
Batman, my parents I didn't know.
We set the scene in Gotham.
We are the criminals of Gotham. No
Smoke
one can
rolls
tell
in.
us
How much
no.
smoke can we get?
That's the chorus.
That's the chorus, yeah.
A widow and her poor child sing after being robbed. Oh, why won't someone help us from the criminals of
And
Gotham?
the kid goes,
where? We are so alone.
What if Alfred rapped?
Ever since the war, I'm in so much pain, so I pour my life into Master Wayne. MC Wayne, that is.
Every musical needs rap.
At its heart, it's a bat story.
At its heart, it's a billionaire story.
We need more stories from our billionaires.
At its heart, it's a family story.
At its heart, it's a crime story.
It's a true crime story.
Yes, we should do interviews with real Batman.
Interviews, that's
I've
brilliant.
seen mixed media projections of interviews with real Batman.
I'm looking up real Batman.
Okay, so he's not real, but that's not stopping us. Alfred, I'm using echolocation.
Batman and Robin into the woods. That's what we need to see. I'm telling you, it's we need to just keep melding things together. Keep taking 2 IPs and just smash them together until something works.
To find love.
Yes, at its heart, it's a love story.
Between Bat and Man.
Between man and butler.
Between Man and Boy Ward.
Robin should have a song.
He's in love with Batman.
That makes so much sense.
He's the Prince of Darkness, and he's the Prince of my heart. When will my legal guardian notice me?
I'd watch this while cackling, ruining my hub's favorite superhero. Hey, this might just make his love for Batman even stronger. That's what it did for me. That intro. See, I'm a big theater guy. I was in theater throughout high school. I've actually thought about getting back into theater, into the local theater, but I don't know. We'll see. When I was in high school, I was in my biggest role. So my first role, I played a Viking in an independent musical play that was written by my teacher's, like one of my teacher's friends. There was like a college theater director or whatever, and she wrote this play, and it was called Susan and the Scissor Women. Sounds a little interesting, but it was basically about these children in an orphanage, and one of them is named Susan, and then Susan is like, the 3 scissor women are trying to kill Susan and like cut her lifeline type of thing. And then this guy comes and basically protects Susan by taking her through time and going to these different places. And one of the places was me as a Viking, and I got to sing a little song. And I was basically just dying as a drunk. I think I've told the story before of that was it was my freshman year. And I told this story once that a girl came up to me and showed me a Xanax in her hand and was like, "Look what I got." And I went, because I'm just crazy like that. No, I was just being a dumb kid. So I said, "Fuck it." And I took it, and I didn't actually swallow it at first, but she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that." And she walked away, and then I took it out of my mouth, and I was like, "Should I take it?" And then I took it. And it was half of a bar of Xanax, and I didn't really feel anything other than being drowsy. But when I was in theater that day, I remember the note my teacher gave me afterwards was, "You don't need to act that drunk." And I was like, damn, oopsie. But then my next big performance, completely switch of styling here. I actually played Charlie Brown in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. What can I say? It's pretty good stuff. Let's see. Can I remember? I didn't even sing this part, but the first song's like, "You're a good man, Charlie Brown. You're the kind of reminder we need. You have humility, nobility, and a sense of honor that is very rare indeed." I remember it. That's what theater does to you. I knew a theater kid that was basically a squirrel in human form. He was really nice and funny. I remember a kid tried to give him acid in middle school. Oh, tried to give you acid in middle school. Ooh. Yeah, see, I've thought about it, and I started doing LSD relatively young. And I don't think I would have necessarily had an issue doing it at school, but someone trying to dose you at school, that's a no-go. That's a no-go for me. You played Linus, Madman? We need to do a new a new rendition. Let's do it again. I'll play Charlie Brown, you play Linus. We just need a Snoopy, we need a Schroeder, we need a Lucy and a Sally. I don't think the redheaded girl is in that. I think she's off screen for that. I think I was Charlie Brown my sophomore year, because in my junior year I was who's the main character in I was Prospero in The Tempest. And that was the last play I did because I didn't want to do that play and my teacher forced me to do it. And I basically
We're back with breaking.
I kind of ruined it a little bit. I was kind of the reason the play got ruined, but hey, it is what it is. Told her I didn't want to do it, and I was supposed to be the judge in Sweeney Todd that same year, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I told you I didn't want to do this one to start with, so I'm done. We're done here. Harley can be Snoopy? I like that. Harley would make a good Snoopy. He's got that dog in him. But yeah, so that is that. And now it is time to move on to this. No wonder Zach is an executive member. Look at all these Zyns. I don't think that he wanted to confess that this is the reason that he goes to Costco. He needs the big packs of Zyns. You think he just takes them by the stack? He'll just be like, well, there's 4 right there, easy. Right there, good to go. They're closed and everything. Who's a big Zinner out there? Any of you? I can't say I've ever done a Zyn. I've never done dip either. I don't think Zyns have the same issue as dip. My dad just instilled it in me young that when you put stuff in your lips, you're going to end up eating away the inside of your mouth. And that's how you see like those guys that like are missing their bottom lip. I've met multiple people like that. So it's just like instilled in me that I don't want to do any kind of snooze or anything. That's a no-go. Dip is nasty. Dip is just like here's some cancer for you. Here, spread this cancer on the inside of your lip, why don't you? Have you ever done snuff? Have you ever made a snuff film? Can't say I have. Who's asking? I almost said that. Could you tell that that's what I almost said? I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, snooze. Another interesting story from my dad. One time he was working at a video store and someone asked him if they had any snuff films, and he was like, "Get the fuck out of my store." And it's like, hey man, you got some balls going around just asking people that. Like, you know, these old movie stores, they got a porn section, but that's about it. You know, we got a curtain for a reason, buddy. Yeah, cancer in a can. Yeah, dip specifically. Like, I'm pretty sure Zyn, and I think that the point is to help negate that but I imagine probably not like by much, right? Okay. So pouches specifically, there's no current research that shows evidence of Zyn or other nicotine pouches causing lip or oral cancer. Yeah, cancer in a tin is specifically just dip. Just straight dipping. Like, look at this. Yo, can I rub some of that fucking dirt on my lip real quick? I'm sorry to all the dippers out there. But like, this is how I take my coffee. I've heard stories of people who are just like, no, I just swallow the spit and then I just get fucking I just swallow all the dip spit and just start tripping out, and I'm like, dude, you are going to die. But yeah, I guess keep zinning, it's fine. The research says so. I don't know if it's true. Give it some time. We might get some more research out. I don't know. But love was called out by our favorite water sommelier. The Europe to America effect. Dear @love2000 or 200. Just drink more spring water. With peace and love, your personal water sommelier, Martin. And he's showing that. Look at that. I mean, I'm sorry. Jesus. Look at his... Yo, his traps are fucking huge. He's like one of those people where you could like completely just switch out a different person right here and it would just be completely fine. His traps are massive. You know, I said this about iDubbbz. iDubbbz doesn't have the physique, obviously, but iDubbbz just has massive traps. And I wonder if that is just purely a genetic thing, to just have really big traps. Oh, this isn't a good example of it. This picture will never not be funny to me. His fists are blocking here, but this photo is just so funny to me. We know what Love's relationship with water is. He said spring water. When Martin comes on, Love just starts editing. He starts worrying about something else. Here's a perfect example. Do you see how he has like kind of large, maybe they're just super tense. Maybe he just has like super tense traps. But do you see what I mean? It's so interesting. When you have large traps like this, it quite literally looks photoshopped. Like it looks like you could carve out right here and switch that on to a completely different person. Now that throws me off. Least intimidating boxer. Is he actually trying to flex here? He can't be, right? Ian after training months for boxing. Martin after drinking some water. This isn't a good example of it. It was in one of the videos that you can still tell what I'm saying though here. his flexing maneuver is kind of hiding it here. I'm not going to spend too long trying to find a picture of Idubbbz traps. Big Ed just has high traps. I never thought about that. Dude's just fucking yoked. I feel like such a horrible person. I thought he was wearing a fucking turtleneck too. I thought he was like accentuating it by wearing a turtleneck. God, I'm sorry. Once again, Ethan was right about Doja. So the people found the receipts. They found the truth. We're just moving on from Big Ed. It's not a big deal. Little play on words there. But here. Picard? Okay. Sorry.
Dude, I would put money on it that she hadn't been to either one of those things in her whole life. Maybe once. Not even once.
I understand and can relate to dancers in a way, but I'm not in that industry, so I don't know what it's like. I've never been to a ballet. I've never seen an opera. And
what can you say? Dead to rights. Remember when Big Ed gave Zach a Mayo hair wash? That was a diabolical era for the pod. I think people forget about that. It's not brought back. It's not brought up enough. Big Ed was a stepping stone for the H3 series. Case closed. Here's the thing. I don't think you need to be. I don't think you need to even have gone to like a theater performance to respect the arts. But I do understand the point is to have such a high level of disgust is clearly just performative. Look at this still. Do you think she made this video before or after hopping off before or after going on 4chan? I wonder. It brings good questions up, you know? But now we get into the Anisa stuff. So as we know, as has been brought up. Here, I'll just pull up the whole stream. I realized I should have done that already. God damn it. I'm a failure. Stupid. This one. There we go.
Four.
So Anisa be lying. She said nah, Harley wanted to come to the here's a perfect face for her to make while I'm saying this. She said Harley wanted to come to this event, but Ethan was scared of Sam Hyde, so he didn't really want him to come, and I was scared of him and stuff. I was all scared and shit, and I was like, nah. So people found more receipts, basically like just outlining like the timeline of like these things. I thought this was interesting too. She's wearing the Teddy Fresh, because this was Teddy Fresh too, right? The sweater was Teddy Fresh. So like they specifically like picked out their Teddy Fresh to go to this Teddy Fresh event. But here's more communications. I got some of their classics launch for Max to stream in, and he loves it all. Super good quality every time from Teddy Fresh. You look so good. And Anisa replied, thank you. Yeah, everything is really made to last and is so comfy. Love it. And that was in 2023. No, that was in 2015. No, that was 2023. And so it's just clear, like, why lie? Because the thing I don't understand is, like, this seems like such an unnecessary thing to lie about. like how Hasan is like, I hated having to lie about liking Teddy Fresh. Why not just be like, yeah, I like the clothes. That doesn't mean I have to like them as people. Cool, they have good tastes. Like, that doesn't mean like anything. It's such like a staunch opposition that is unneeded. Having so much fun styling Hila's new collection. I feel like a ripped denim skirt goes perfectly with the She-Hulk vibe. Love the Marvel at Teddy Fresh collab. You don't understand, Steven. It was the Marvel Teddy Fresh launch. This is very important. People must know. I should have cared about it. I guess it was something I should have cared about. I don't know. I think it was a Marvel launch. I don't really remember. These heavily cropped screenshots are for the people. Or wait, was this a recent post maybe? Because this says 1 hour ago. Or no. Now I'm confused. So these were screenshotted back then? $11 hours ago. 1 day ago. I'm just confused as to how these were pulled, I guess. Because I see these were pulled from 142 weeks ago, so these were recent finds. Oh, it was just because of this Marvel post. Or this is just a Marvel shirt, I'm assuming? This tucked into a pair of cargo shorts. I guess I'm not understanding the relation on this part a little bit. Is this a Teddy Fresh design? I guess it's harder for me to tell because I know they did like pull from the comics like this, but I don't remember if that one was specifically. She's being sarcastic with the Steven guy who's a snarker. These heavily crop screenshots are for the people. Oh, okay. So she was just being sarcastic here. That's why it says 2026. Okay. I was just confused. Sorry. I didn't do enough research. This is Teddy Fresh. This tucked into a pair of cargo shorts. So this is being ironic too. Yeah, this is just being ironic, even though she literally did that. I guess is the point. I guess that's why it fell flat for me. This maybe should have been been the what she's saying now first, because I just assumed this was part of the same context, because it does just go so perfectly. I didn't read it as ironic at first. This tucked into a pair of cargo shorts, and that's ironic, but you literally did that just with a ripped skirt. Giving a stop motion class tomorrow? Oh, that's sick. That's dope. What did I miss? Not a whole lot. Just me being confused, actually. I was a little bit confused here. You own this. Yeah, so I didn't realize that these are just her trying to be ironic and snarky on Twitter. Which, again, it's like... Ethan does post stuff on Instagram, on his Instagram stories. But I'm trying to think in I guess some of them are kind of just shit talking, I guess. So I guess you can't say too much about just the back and forth. It just seems kind of well, one, dumb because you did do this and did support this exact. You didn't like this one. You didn't like Ghost Rider, but you liked She-Hulk, so that's fine. And wore Teddy Fresh to the event and sat between Harley and Ethan. She fails at everything. Yeah. She failed at the irony here. I didn't get it. Maybe I'm just too stupid for the great mind of Anisa and all her concussions. But let's not forget as well that these new woke legends are still doing impersonations and mocking accents. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Because like you can mock somebody and like I don't know, you can be like make them sound like whiny or make them sound like they're like speaking too rapidly and like not getting their sentences out properly or something. I don't like you. There are ways to impersonate people that aren't just mocking their accent. But that seems to be the only way that they can think about doing impersonations. She said she has Ela accent. What does that even mean? You have a huge brain, Captain. Never question your intellect, especially when it comes to Anisa. Hey, maybe my brain's too big. It's pushing against the walls of my skull. Ah! But here we go. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this great impression.
I'm a big fan of Nicholas Diorio. What can I say? You do your research.
Saying that Nicholas Diorio does good research is so funny. So I think I do. Think
It's like she's looking right at me.
They bond over the hate, and that's good for us.
You done?
There it is. I know. I said I know.
Honestly, she might become a donation sound for Diorio. Because that is like perfect. Let me hear it real quick.
I'm a big fan of Nicholas Diorio. What?
That's just like perfect. That right there, just cut it. Because it's supposed to be her mocking Ela, but it sounds nothing like Ela's accent. Yeah, her Ela, Galia, and Iranian guy mocking accents are exactly the same. Yeah, they have no, like, at least do a good job. At least make it sound like them. Come on. It's a little quiet. Here, let me boost it. Boosted.
Can I say? You do your research.
Here, let me, 1 second. Reddit. Just pop the gain up a little bit.
I'm a big fan of Nicholas Diorio. What can I say? You do your research.
What voice is she doing? I'm trying to like pick it out right now.
She's doing this voice. Oh, it's kind of like a Marvin the Martian. That's what she's kind of doing. A little bit of a Marvin the Martian voice. Ooh.
Like it sounds nothing like Ela. That's what she's doing right now. She's basically impersonating Marvin the Martian. I was trying to pin it down. I was like, what the fuck does she sound like right now?
Saying that Nicholas Diorio does good research is so funny. So I do think they get along. They bond over the hate, and that's good for us.
You done?
There it is. I know. I said I had one. That's my Elam.
It's Bear from Cleveland Show. I'm not even laughing at the idea of the voice of Bear from Cleveland Show. I just love the comment of Bear from the Cleveland Show. It just looks so fun. Just reading that in chat made me laugh.
Impression. Oh no. That was the famous Elam. That was, yeah. It kills at parties. I had a poker event that I did that at, and it did kill. So, hey, Train. Yeah, they both love Kino Casino, obviously, because they love all and anything deplorable and gross. Sorry, felt it, imp. I know you like it there, but.
As much as I love shitting on them, I think Ethan should stop mentioning them at all. They would drop below 100 viewers ASAP. Yeah, I do think that there are a lot of people that go over there and hate watch of those 100 viewers. And it's like, come on, guys. There's better content. You can go find some actual stuff that you can enjoy. There's no use in just dwelling on the unfortunate people around us. This girl loves the sound of her own voice. She's always just saying shit. Well, we know. We'll get to this, but we know where like streaming has gotten her before. I could only find this clip on Facebook. It took me forever to find this clip. I'm not even kidding. But okay.
Something that was particularly funny is she was saying how we were talking about how Twitter is not the best place.
God damn it! Now this one's super loud. Harley, why do you have to speak it? Why do you have to project your voice? Come on.
And she was like, yeah, like you literally get ads for Nazis to be Nazis. And she showed me a screenshot and it was straight up an ad for Nazis.
I think that's why Ian all of a sudden started trying to pick a fight with Burnt Peanut, trying to drum up more views. Well, I mean, he's literally just bandwagoning. I was going to check out a video by Internet Versus that was Internet versus Hasan and Burnt Peanut, and I wanted to see like what this was about. And I heard that there was some stuff going around. People were calling him like a Zionist and stuff like that. I don't actually know what the context is, but I thought that might be interesting. But sorry, let me restart this real quick just so we could get this full thing here that Harley says.
One thing that was particularly funny is she was saying how we were talking about how Twitter is not the best place. And she was like, yeah, like you literally get ads for Nazis to be Nazis. And she showed me a screenshot and it was straight up an ad for Nazis on X. And I was like, I've never seen this. This is actually targeted to you.
That's fucking crazy because
you hear I've never seen this.
Dude, checkmate fucking Nazis.
I'm like, what's up with all the Nazi ads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should have read this part off. But they were showing the tweet that Anisa made got 400,000 views, whereas the original ad only got 45,000. And this is only one posting of this ad. Sometimes they do like multiple postings of the same ad. I don't know, it's weird like that, but it did in this instance get 10 times the original exposure. So she is basically just promoting it, and not just promoting it. It's like, you shouldn't. Maybe she didn't. Did she crop it? It doesn't look like she did. I think she just left it full, the full thing. You could at least crop out the name so that people don't go and look them up and like follow them and become swayed like, oh, I wonder. But yeah, usually your algorithm is pretty specific. I don't see Nazi stuff being promoted to me. I do see a lot of Nazis in the comments saying stuff. I don't get like ads for Nazi shit. Because it's not like they want to promote Nazi shit to everybody. It truly is they want to make money. And there's people that know that their ads will work to a Nazi audience. So they're willing to promote it to those audiences. And obviously there is some leakage. You know, it does go to other people depending on like the content that you intake and the content that you interact with. But yeah, telling on herself yet again. I am pretty based and I never get Nazi advertisements. Hey, I watch people literally getting kicked in the head on Twitter. I watch like crazy fights where I'm like, I think that person might have died. And I'm not even getting Nazi advertisements. I'm just saying, there's a lot of crazy shit on Twitter. There's only some Nazi stuff. It's mostly in the comment section. So as long as you avoid that, just go watch those, crazy videos. That is like the only reason to go on Twitter now. People only go on Twitter for Nazi propaganda, porn, crazy like fight and gore videos that just get posted there for some reason. And I think that basically covers it. Truly a different world. I'd have to agree with you. From my understanding, Twitter just spams right-wing stuff and shoves recommendations. I only use Twitter for gooning and get unrelated recommendations that are far right. Hey man, it's those goon sessions. I'm telling you, you don't realize that you're actually engaging with far-right propaganda. Well, the news stuff will probably get you engaged with right-wing stuff too. Because, like I'm saying, I think that it pushes it to the people that are interacting with these different pieces. And so if you are like going through the comment section, looking and interacting, even not necessarily liking the posts about like these specific instances of like Nazis or anything, I could understand stuff like that getting presented to you. There aren't that many people in Edmonton. We could buy a bunch of targeted social media advertisements and force whatever kind of ads on them. Just send them all to Edmonton. They're bound to see it. What population of Edmonton doesn't even use the internet? That's a question. There's got to be some old folks out there, right? At least a couple.
I've never seen this.
This
is actually targeted to you.
That's fucking crazy because
That's targeted to your account.
You hear
I've never seen this.
Dude, checkmate.
I use X for gay gooning and still get right-wing propaganda. Well, those things aren't mutually exclusive. I'll just say that.
Fucking Nazis.
But let's not forget what she had said. And I'm gonna show her clarification as well. You know, we're not just going to do her dirty and just show her worst moments. Oh my god. Facebook now. What?
Experimenting on 10 children.
Look at this. I turn the sound on the video. I play the video, it mutes the video immediately. No, that didn't work either. I was trying to do a space to start.
Is experimenting on 10 children to obtain a cure for thousands of kids' lives justified? That's a really hard question, and I think if people are being 100% honest, they'd give you a different answer than what you're expecting. As terrible as the Holocaust was, obviously it was horrendous, and how disgusting the doctor was that did the experiments on people. I was gay people, handicaps, twins. I think that's, and obviously, they were obviously Jewish, or they did it on Jewish people. They found a couple of really groundbreaking discoveries through that experimentation.
It's not even like, just like a misunderstanding of the history. It is quite literally just alt-right propaganda. Like, it's so funny that that's exactly what it is. And she tried to explain it away here. And so I want to get her clarification of what she actually... She didn't understand. It's not even a clarification of her, like, what she meant. Did she not understand what she was saying? She kind of tries to sidestep it all a little bit. But let's just let her speak for herself.
Though, okay, I've like had clips of me go out that are like so heinous and also like out of context that sometimes I like the worst.
So I don't know if she's saying this clip specifically is out of context. She's saying this is the worst example of some that are often out of context. Because I don't see what the context could be in this case if you are just wrong.
First one by far is that stupid fucking like I went through this era on Twitch where I thought I was like an intellectual and I could be an intellectual, and I was watching other streamers that were like navigating, asking really hard ethical questions.
I really wonder if she was just watching Destiny debate pedophilia. When I heard her say this, I was really just like, that's got to be what she's talking about, right? These serious ethical debates. Like, what are you talking about? Again, in the same way that you basically gave like a Nazi, like you gave a Nazi talking point without any explanation as to what you mean. Which experiments were groundbreaking? Can you give an example of one? Can you give us an example here or no?
intellectual, and I was watching other streamers that were like navigating, asking really hard ethical questions.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do this. And I had professors that like, you know, would talk about these things, and I took history classes. So I was like, okay.
Also, your teachers were teaching you Nazi talking points? I'm so confused.
Hey, I feel like I'm like equipped to like.
She never had a chance. You know, it was coming at her from the beginning. They were trying to get her on the Nazi pipeline. You know, it's not her fault, and that's why she's woke now. You're just not listening.
Like talk about these things, which I very much was not. But the people would come in and try to bait me into like having these fucking stupid answers. I really regret this one, but like somebody asked like like something about.
To be fair, we wouldn't have Two-Headed Boy by Neutral Milk Hotel without Mengele. Okay, silver linings everywhere. You're right. Horrible. No, see, because I don't. What she doesn't understand is what you were saying is a Nazi dog whistle that takes actual historical truths in that Nazi. I guess scientists were a part of it too. I can't think of the specifics, but the big one that we all remember, I guess scientist does fit into it, but is Werner von Braun, who basically like, you know, created NASA and is the father of space travel in a sense. And it is like Werner von Braun is a good example of somebody that the US used that was a Nazi that quite literally helped develop missiles by using slave labor in concentration camps. So a horrid, terrible human being. And then they go, well, look what they were able to create with the minds of these horrid people later on. But in the same way that we have that, I forget what the specific scientist is. The testing of like the drug experimentation that was done on like their soldiers and stuff. I don't know if that's necessarily the direct link, but it was through the scientists in Operation Paperclip that eventually led to things like MK Ultra, because it's like, you know, that pipeline of just drug experimentation on soldiers, on the population, on, you know, and so on. So yes, it is not even in that sense all like roses and daisies. Like, even if you want to consider it like, well, what did they do after World War II? Like, even if you want to think about it in that sense, it isn't perfect. Yeah, just Operation Paperclip. Yeah, not Mengele. Mengele, no. Just, like, ripping somebody's heart out and going like, what happens to their twin now? If I remove the heart from one twin, what happens to the other? I feel like they could have figured that out pretty easily by studying quite literally just animals. You don't even have to do experimentation on them. Literally just study animals as they die. But I guess that's how they saw their prisoners, so. But sorry, let's let her continue.
About the Holocaust and like whether or not there was like good that came out of it or whatever. And I prefaced it very heavily. I was like, the things that happened during the Holocaust were horrific. The experiments that happened were horrific. And then this was like the big mistake was like, but there were things that came out of it that like, which I found out now is complete propaganda. Nothing good came out of those experiments. They didn't actually find anything.
Right.
But at the time,
I mean, they found out people die pretty easily when you do experimentation on them. Like, I think that was probably like the main discovery, is that the human body can stay alive through extreme torture, but it almost inevitably always ends in death. Almost always. Like, there are very few cases, like they did crazy stuff too, of like removing all of like the flesh and muscle from a person's leg while they're alive. Stuff like that. But she's so enlightened. Sorry, I forgot about that part. Yes, admitting she's a victim to propaganda. Well, it's so funny, right? Because it's like she is admitting a level of ignorance here to say like, oh, I didn't know any better. Oh, but I learned now that that's wrong. But what you should also have learned is that you are susceptible to propaganda, like in a very, like, you are very easily swayed by propaganda, I guess. Not just that you are susceptible, you are very easily swayed because those are things like the thing you spouted is quite literally just one of the easiest talking points to debunk with like simple Google searches. And again, if all you're doing is watching other people debate, that doesn't help a whole lot if you aren't yourself like fact checking their stances and their opinions. Because who knows if you're just siding with somebody who's spouting propaganda. That experimentation was heavily influenced by Hitler's obsession with the occult. Reminds me a lot of the stuff in the Epstein files. Same elites still live on. Yeah. Yeah, and that's like one of the funny parts about like when people like praise Hitler and talk about Hitler, and then they're also like these Christian nationalists, and like if you actually look into like, it's just so weird because yeah, I guess it's the same, like, don't call Trump Hitler, but it's the same thing as Trump of like weaponizing Christianity against the world, like against your own people, even though you yourself do not uphold the values of the religion that you are claiming to espouse. Sorry to be crass, but isn't her whole thing showing her boobs because it made her Muslim dad mad? I think that is kind of, I don't know if it was to make her dad mad, but she does seem like the rebellious type. I don't know if that's directly the cause, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Donald, I can't name a single Bible verse. Trump, Donald, I don't see myself going to heaven. Trump. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it.
I was like, there's things that came out and out of it and things that, you know, we use to this day scientifically. And, you know, you have to ask yourself, like, you know, the world goes the way that it does. And, you know, it's like the ethical question of like, would you change the world? And like, what does that mean in the future? Like, does that mean some, you know, and I was trying to like have this like,
yo, I'm completely lost now. What was she trying to say there?
You know, you have to ask yourself, like, you know, the world goes the way that it does. And, you know, it's like the ethical question of like, would you change the world? And like, what does that mean in the future? Like, does that mean some, you know, and I was trying to like.
If we didn't have the Nazis, we might have never went to the moon. Oh no! Like, that's just, first of all, that's not the case. Because it might have maybe extended the, like, again, it shows the level of, like, simplicity that your brain is functioning in. Is it a coincidence she starts an OnlyFans as soon as her dad gets dementia? It's a good question. She knew it wouldn't make him mad at that point. I don't think Kubrick was a Nazi. Hey, you know? Was he? It's a good question.
Have this like ethical, and
you
I was
never
like,
know.
Some people would say that. I said some
That's
people.
True, you did. I
would
do
say
remember that.
because.
What is up with Kubrick's obsession with Nazism? The mannerisms in Dr. Strangelove's character, a Clockwork Orange. Okay, wait, okay. This is just a thing. Stanley Kubrick, a Jewish story. Yes, a Jewish family in the Bronx. He isn't a Nazi. I knew it.
Because I don't agree with it. I was just trying to play the ethical
You're
like,
playing that game.
Yeah,
which,
of like,
yeah,
this
a lot
is
of
a conversation that some people have had, and I've heard this exact conversation in my university setting. So I was like, oh, I'll just present this because it.
First of all, it's insane that you presented this in a university setting and you didn't get pushback on it. That's one crazy, and again, is reflective of the circles that you found yourself in. But beyond that, trying to take your, like, school level positions, even like college level positions, and taking that to present feels like a misstep, if not anything more. Like, it's why would you take something that you've only thought about in the context of like arguing it in a classroom setting? Like, I don't know, that just seems, again, why am I thinking so hard about her thought process, I suppose? There's no reason for me to like contemplate on her way of thinking.
It is. I've heard it said before, and it sounds smart. And that clip, like, it has been shared. So I've been told that I'm like a Nazi sympathizer, that I like deny the Holocaust. I've had people like, and that is like by far the most painful. Like that, I heavily regret that.
Yeah.
Even to the point where Ethan and Hila had to like address it during the OnlyFans stuff. People were bringing it up, and,
oh god.
And Ethan and Hila were like, I can't imagine her like having that position,
right?
Because I don't.
But
I
yeah.
don't.
Very
stoic.
Yeah. Was he even listening? Honestly, throughout part of it, once it cut to her talking, I forgot that he was there, and then when it cut back to him, I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
I said some
That's
people.
True, you did. I
would
do remember
say
that.
because
That's like the most he said.
I don't agree with
Yeah.
the cost. I've had people like, and that is like.
Wow. Do you think in his head he just hears the peanuts talking? Like he just hears. Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff. Now I want to talk about this quickly. Trump appoints Erika Kirk to Air Force Academy Board to continue Charlie's legacy. Sorry, gave me acid reflux saying that, I guess. President Donald Trump has appointed Erika Kirk, widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, to the Board of Visitors that is in charge of making U.S. Air Force Academy recommendations to the Secretary of War and the President. Now, I don't think that you necessarily need some high level like I don't even know, like you just professionals in the field, but I feel like you would want to have at least people in the field at all, right? Because what would be her like basis of understanding what would be the changes to make for the Air Force Academy? Like I'm just like and the part I find so ironic about it is that they're doing this. I mean, it's framed here as to continue Charlie Kirk's legacy. But doesn't this like go completely against what Charlie Kirk like said about DEI hires and stuff like that? Yeah, isn't it literally just a DEI hire situation? And again, not that I am opposed to DEI, but it just seems so ironic and like just so like I genuinely don't even know how to talk about this because it just seems so apparent. Like this should be so clear as day that this not only goes against like the ideas that Charlie Kirk presented, but also like just seems like a failure at actually making an attempt to appropriately change their Air Force Academy. I wonder if Candace is going to crash out about Egyptian planes again. Well, she's going to have a lot of stuff to say about this for sure. Just wait and see. But here, let's hear what Charlie Kirk has to say about this, about specifically about black pilots and DEI.
All right, let me tell you exactly what I said,
Sure thing,
okay?
thank you.
So this was in response, first and foremost, to United Airlines saying that half of all their new pilots that they're going to hire are going to be women or people of color.
I think specifically it was half of the people, it was the people they were trying to teach, not necessarily the people they were going to hire. I forget what here, let me look up what the actual thing was. It was something like that, though, where it wasn't about quotas for hiring. It was about, like, if any type of quota, I don't know if quota is even the right phrasing to use, but it was like if any type of quota, it would be for the schooling to be able to apply for the positions type of thing.
Currently, they're 15%. Okay. So they want to go from 15% to 50%. A conversation then ensued about how every time affirmative action is employed, standards have to be lowered. There's not a single instance where that does not occur. So then I said, boy, if I see a black pilot, I'm now going to wonder.
Or that's what it was. Sorry. So I got it a little bit wrong. It's kind of in between what we're both saying. So it's establish training initiatives aiming for 50% of new pilot trainees to be women or people of color, addressing historic underrepresentation. And again, I think I understand the position from Charlie Kirk as like a hard stance capitalist, because it's like the idea of he says that he believes in equality and the idea that all people are equal in an inherent sense, but that does not mean that the institutions that are in place are required to instill equity in a society so that all people are created the same, but that doesn't mean that they should be allowed or should be brought to the same level, because it's an established same footing, even though that part isn't true. So like, I understand the perspective. I just wholly disagree with it. And I feel like it is abject to the idea of someone like Erika Kirk even being a part of this board. Because yes, it is it isn't like an application process. These are like appointed positions for this type of thing anyways. But again, I feel like we should have people that are at least in the field to be able to make the, appropriate recommendations for changes at the Air Force Academy, at the U.S. Air Force Academy. By the way, DEI doesn't mean you aren't qualified. You have to be qualified. And yeah, I get the steel man here. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is DEI is quite literally not to say that unqualified people should be, just placed into these positions because of their race. It's to say that you should. And again, it's like, this is a good, it's a conversation to have, because you could argue the same thing about, like the application process for colleges and the fact that Asian people have a harder time getting into colleges because of the I forget what it is. It's not because they're in college more, like the way some people frame it. It's because on average they have higher academic there's higher academic success, and so they look at other factors, like extracurricular stuff, if you are Asian as opposed to if you are another race. And that has been obviously weaned out. True about the college point. Yeah, so it's like, I get it in some regards, but again, it's not about just forcing people into forcing diversity. It's about establishing a sense of diversity to allow for the best pilots, the best educators, the best doctors and whatever to be able to come out of these communities and be able to bring our society to the highest place that it could be. Because regardless of what you think the averages are about, like, you know, people are so ridiculous when talking about like, oh, well, if you look at the crime rates and the this, and don't think about like the societal impacts upon different groups of people. And it's like, even if you want to look at that, it's like it doesn't, again, account for the outliers that there would be that would be able to be uplifted and brought out of circumstance. It's all just kind of redundant at a certain point. Yeah, the doctors that saved my life in 2018 were Asian. We need as many Asian doctors as possible. Well, yeah, exactly. If they're here's the thing. I agree with Charlie Kirk on this point. If the white pilots are qualified, let them be pilots. But if the black pilots are qualified, let them be pilots too. If the Asian doctors are qualified, let them be doctors. And if the white doctors are qualified, let them be doctors. We need the fucking doctors. I'm playing Fields of Mystria in the background, so I'm a bit AFK. Hey, it's all good. Just open it up in several windows to make up for it. But yeah, so that was that. That was all I had to say about that. Just I thought it was kind of ironic when I first read that. So we'll see if anything, like if anybody has opinions that come out about this. I'm pretty sure that's relatively new news. So I'll kind of keep up to date on that to see if more comes out about this whole Erika Kirk thing. I really wonder how long they were planning the Charlie thing. He had only recently spoken out against the handlers. The turnaround was so fast. I don't know if Charlie Kirk, if it's like the whole idea of an inside job does seem a little bit far-fetched to me. I think in general, the way the government moves is not in a way that encourages or places these types of hits. Or it might encourage these types of hits, but I don't think they're the ones that are necessarily executing them. I think that what is more likely often the case is that these type of things are being monitored by like the FBI, and these people are seeing that they're like going to act out and are basically like maybe given kind of the freedom to do so as to further these like ulterior motives of these organizations. That's some next level conspiracy right there. Kirk joke. I know a guy, or I don't know him that well. He's like a friend of a friend. He made a song about Charlie Kirk's assassination the day that Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm just gonna play the beginnings part. Why do I need to sign in? I need to sign in.
Charlie Kirk got fucking face, and I ain't agreeing with what he said, but my gun's gon' have to stay. The left side trying to take my gun, but no abortion if you get raped. The Jews is running shit, fuck politics, so get the fuck about my face.
Crazy. All the comments when he posted it on Instagram, and all the comments were like, what side are you taking? They were like, what side are you taking? Because everything, it was just literally like, it is one of the craziest fucking songs I've ever heard. And like I said, he literally released that the day that Charlie Kirk died. I was like, Jesus Christ. But this is Internet versus Hasan and the burnt peanut. So I saw this is a little old, but I am wondering what this whole like new burnt peanut hate is. I've seen some people talking about his view botting and stuff like that, but it seems like it's taken a turn a bit. So I'm wondering what the whole story is here. So let's just get this started.
A couple weeks back, Hasan got into it with live streamer The Burnt Peanut after a clip went viral of Peanut responding to a chatter who told him that the USA is a joke. In reply, Peanut called the chatter a third worlder, flexed the US military, and more. And
okay, that's pretty crazy, Peanut. What's up with that?
upon seeing this on stream, Hasan fired shots at the Burnt Peanut, saying he's Israel's #1 streamer and that he's Dr. Disrespect without the kid stuff. Also at one point saying Peanut was designed in an Israeli lab. Sneeko also weighed in, attacking Peanut for the comments. Now, some online gave backlash to Hasan in response to this, saying that he would blame Israel for literally any and everything. But Hasan claims that he was just joking the entire time. Welcome to the internet versus Hasan and the Burnt Peanuts. It starts when Yoxic tweets out this clip with the caption, "The Burnt Peanuts cooked a viewer who said USA is a joke."
USA is a joke?
I mean, saying that to the Burnt Peanut is in itself a joke, I feel like, right?
Buddy, we got a flying black Dorito worth more than the entire GDP of your country that could flatten your shit before you blink. USA is a disappointment. Hold on, sir. Let me cook this third world guy. I guarantee you we've got homeless people on the streets of LA living in tents with a newer iPhone than your president. USA, USA, back to back with what you mean! Fuck you.
And Choice Point replies with this gif in the caption, "The Burnt Peanut viewership enjoying this epic rant." Pyro says, "Bro be..."
I mean, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, am I supposed to hold the Burnt Peanut to like a high standard? I don't know. When I think about people like Hasan or people like, they are trying to shape the minds of like the youth and stuff like that. And that's why they get a higher level of criticism. Someone like the Burnt Peanut, it's like, I feel like whoever his fans are probably already a little bit lost, not gonna lie. Like the people that are dedicated fans, they're like hardcore into it. Like, come on now. Oh, I don't think we have time for a fun poll. Do they even have a... Okay, they do. No thumbnail or title up yet, but I will start the poll because we're 15 minutes away. So let's start that poll for how late will the H3 show start today?
Became a federal agent for 30 seconds just to defend the flag. And Bob replies, "You're from Africa, so you wouldn't understand." Donald Glover says, "Oh, that's why he's always plays with racist people." Australium says, "Our country's entire purpose is to kill innocent people to advance the interests of rich pedophiles." And
I gotta give it up, you know? In this world of edgy fucks, little edgy shitlords, you gotta love somebody like, oh, am I not going to be able to find the clip? You guys know who Jim Skin is? The only good kick streamer.
Have a little wear of that.
Let me have a little wear of that then, yeah? But this ain't a sacker, so I'm not sacking on no sacker. Shut up.
Don't let it touch your lips.
Brother.
But there's a whole clip of him being like, no racism in chat. No racism in chat. This is all positivity. Nobody, and like he was specifically calling out his chat being like, hey, cut that shit out. And I feel like with the current state of the world, you need more people that can just say that. Because it's like, it's so stupid where like people are like, well, it shouldn't need to be said. It's so obvious. Of course we aren't really racist. We're just saying racist things. It's so ridiculous to me. Because it's those people too. And I'm just going to pick out that usually they are white. And usually the people that are making the racist comments are the ones that also get so worked up about the death of the white race. Oh, white people are being executed in the street by not being able to find a wife. Like it's so crazy.
Incredible rebuttal. Adam says, the burnt peanut is my new favorite source of entertainment. Mills says, he's such a fucking repulsive moron. And Essayed Code 3 says, he's repulsive for loving his country. And Mills says, yes, M. And Essayed says, why? And Mills says, because his country doesn't give a fuck about him. And Essayed replies, United States has a better standard of living than 95% of countries, so I believe it actually does care about him. Am I missing something, or is it because you're an overall hateful person? Greg quote tweets Yoxic by saying, profoundly chud slob. The cadence and everything. And Frank Guy replies, he hams it up a bit, but yes, he is a chud. And somehow I still enjoy watching him. Truly a talent. And Greg says, good for you for owning it, to be honest. Problematic loss to media consumer quote tweets the clip.
Scorched Legume is still claiming there's a mole on the pod. Is that iDubbbz? I can't remember. What does that mean? A mole? Like feeding him information or what?
By saying, send VTuber fans to live in dog kennels is becoming an increasingly moderate and sensible policy. And Stewart replies, basically the entire VTubing community hates this guy's guts for the record. And Problematic replies, exactly my point. Most of the entire VTubing community are themselves horrible, and even the ones they all gang up against are equally bad. Kaleo Kathleen quotes the clip by saying, no wonder the guy came out of nowhere and Twitch doesn't do shit about viewbotting. The guy is a CIA propaganda plant. And Ab replies, we got about 2 weeks until this guy gets a 50-page Google Doc worth of allegations. Viv says, who is the burnt peanut and why is he relevant? Why am I supposed to care? Why is this being presented to me as if I know who the...
I love when people say this type of stuff. Why am I supposed to care? You know, you could just not. You know what you could do? You could go, the fuck is this? On to the next. Simple as. You like the engagement. We see through it. It's like, you're as clear as glass. It's not even opaque.
This is, why are we here? Why do I exist? Mud quotes the clip by saying, what the fuck are Goyim watching? And Punished Venom Stuff says, I genuinely think people who watch this shit are of a lower IQ bracket. Hasan
and again, I just want to be clear that usually, this is what Ethan was pointing out when people say like Goyim is a slur. People use Goyim as a slur when they are non-Jewish individuals trying to claim others as subservient to Jewish people. It's the same thing as calling a black person an Uncle Tom. It's like the same thing. But they're in the same way that they appropriated the term Jew into being an offensive, like bigoted term as well. They are like appropriating Goyim into the same type of thing. Why is anti-Semitism so lazy? Like they can't even come up with new words. They just have to switch the usage.
quotes the clip by saying, we have an elite pedo cabal running the government so their pedo friends can extract super profits from the global south that we dominate militarily, in the wealthiest nation on earth where close to 1 million people sleep outside every night. We are a cruel joke. We can do better. And Denims replies, burnt peanut fans are not gonna like this one. Cool Hand James says, you go to brothels with underage girls and electrocute your dog. And KC replies to Hasan by saying, dude trying to get political with a peanut. Lamau. Marco says,
gotta be honest, when you put it like that, you go to brothels, even without like the underage part, that is a claim that was made because the brothel that Hasan went to at a time when he was not there did get charges. I think the owners got charges for child trafficking or something. There was something like that. And so they are conflating it a little bit, but I think going to brothels in itself is a little bit of an issue. You know what I mean? They're BP fans. Yep. Big oil fans.
The American Century of Humiliation will be narrated.
Okay, that's what it was. It was for tax evasion, then trafficking was discovered. I knew tax evasion was evolved in some way, and I couldn't remember like the chain of events, so thank you. But yeah, so it's... And again, going to a brothel is usually going to, like... I mean, I feel like in most cases, you are going to a bad place if you're going to a brothel. Like, I can't think of a good brothel. It's like saying there's a good pimp. You know what I mean? Like, it's exploitation at the very least. And at the most, it's abuse. Like, when they are actually not willing and are not... Because, again, there are people that are just high libido. There are just some people that are sex workers. There are, I mean, honestly, that is a way that some porn stars start off. Like, a lot of, not a lot, but some adult film stars, sorry, I should say it like that. Some adult film stars early in their career will offer meetups, which are just, you know, escort, basically, services. And so it's like, I don't have a problem with sex work, but I do have a problem with pimps or brothels and the exploitation of sex workers. You know what I mean? It's pretty, I feel like that's a pretty clear line to draw there.
By a Peanuts with a propeller hat. Ill Will says, but did you hear the Dow is at 50K? Very serious.
I'm just removing you from the channel because that was just some of the weirdest stuff I've ever read.
This country indeed. Sneeko reacts to the clip and Yeet posted with a caption, Sneeko goes off on Burnt Peanut for defending America while putting down third worlders.
What did the Peanut say?
Worth more than the entire GDP of your country that could flatten your shit before you...
I think putting Anisa and Ian in the title is both it's like a catch-22. It's not really a catch-22. It just it attracts two audiences, which is an issue. Because it attracts a good audience that just wants to criticize Ian and Anisa, and then it pulls in all the A-loggers. We talk about a lot of stuff here. I ain't trying to A-log. Exploitation is bad. True. No way. We agree.
Blake. USA is a disappointment. Hold on, sir. Let me cook this third world guy.
Yeah, I don't know if a fucking peanut, you're probably too fat to show your real face, should call anybody a third worlder. This supremacist...
Well, Sneeko, that's a misstep. Being obese would enhance the claim of living in a first world country. So, like, I don't know what you mean.
It's the ideology that you're better than people.
What are A-loggers again? There are lol cows and there are A-loggers. The A-loggers are... they are the milkers of the lol cows. You don't want to be a milker. Why do you want to get that close? Hasan is right that the country is run by those monsters, but it's all about the politicians. It's not just the right-wing politicians. They're all vampire PDFs, or they happily work alongside them. I mean, I think that's true. I mean, it's just a governance thing. Well, and that's the whole issue, right? Is that people want to take it's all scapegoating, you know what I mean? There's clear evidence of not just like our government acting in heinous ways, but also like the influence of countries like Russia and Israel onto our country and stuff like that, which are very bad. And they all seem to appeal to like this underbelly. And then they like to but then people that want to claim to like see all of this stuff fall for the scapegoats of like different religions, whether it be Islam or Judaism or Christianity, when talking about like from the leftist side, people being like, oh, it's all the Christians. Like, it comes in every angle where people try and come for like the religious aspect of these demonstrable people. Like, it's falling for the scapegoat, and it's so unworthy. It's like so just unworthy of your time. Yeah, Stoic Chronicles is an iDubbbz A-log, for example, and that's why I can't watch too much Stoic Chronicles. I like it in pieces, because I can tell sometimes. Here's my point, right? Is it's like he without sin cast the first stone. You know, let's get biblical. Stoic Chronicles. Did a stream. Oh, they actually streamed 13 hours ago. I think their first stream is a better example. Here, let me go back.
So, my second monitor, I kind of fucked it.
So they're terrible at streaming. They decided to do a stream with terrible, shitty audio. It's like, again, it's the pot calling the kettle black at a certain point, and that's why it's like I like to levy valid criticism rather than just keep dog piling on to somebody that's, you know, they're on their last leg. I can't keep doing it to them. They do streams of what? Very seldomly. They have 2 streams up that they've started trying to do more recently. The first one was gaming. I don't know if the second one was gaming. It looked like it. But I don't know if they did other stuff as well.
Better than third worlders, dude. Like, maybe keep that to yourself until you lose some weight, so you don't have to dress yourself up as a fucking peanut. How are you, a millennial? I don't really want to hear anything about first world or third world from a fucking peanut. You just shut up.
And Evan Mahoney replies, bro got offended by a peanut making a joke. Nothing is Impossible says, the burnt peanut is based. We need more patriotic streamers.
He responded with a joke, but Hasan crashed out, but also as a joke. It's all a joke. Everything's a joke, right? Life is a joke. Honestly, I said that, and then I realized how fair of a point that was. It is all just a joke anyways.
The burnt peanut clipped replies, oh yeah, because Sneeko is in a place morally and ethically to talk. Okay, bro. Dr. Han says, this is the second guy I've seen get mad at burnt peanut for being a proud American. Go fuck off somewhere else if you hate it here so much. Noah says, Sneeko is right. Bro is a grown-ass man cosplaying a peanut. And Shane Whitaker says, is that an anime PFP? Shut your pedo ass up, dude. Yeet then posts another clip from Peanut's stream where he actually directly addresses those coming at him with the caption, the burnt peanut addresses those coming at him for his pro-America takes.
Dude, I wake up every day to some bitch groaning on Twitter. It's actually
I seen the latest.
Dude, if waking up to grown men beefing with a peanut was a sport, I'd be fucking LeBron James.
Sneeko talking like he thinks the burnt peanut is a real peanut. Well, I think that Sneeko was just mad that he couldn't like slur him. He was like, I can't see what he looks like, so I don't know what to call him. I can't call him a fat fuck. I can't call him ugly. I just have to assume all of those things, which is, I think it is a valid thing to do. I do that in the comment section sometimes when people just keep on trying to get at me, and like people have gone to my page before on Instagram and it'll be like, oh, you pansy, this and that. And I'll literally be like, bro, you probably looked like a chewed up piece of bubble gum. You were on a blank profile. Don't try and come at me. I know I'm beautiful. So like it works sometimes, but like he seems actually pressed about it, which never works. Can't call him a globalist. Fuck. That's the worst one. That's the one he was hoping for. Like, he's an American. Can't call him a globalist. Damn it.
I would genuinely be LeBron James. They just can't leave me alone.
A big black fly.
Completely separate from all the ideologies and opinions on character, the Burnt Peanut's voice is awful, and I fucking hate listening to him speak. I can't tell if he's putting on a voice or if that's actually just how he sounds. But he sounds like he's doing this, like he's kind of putting on like a bit of a lisp, but like also just speaking like kind of more energetically. Like I don't know how to explain it. Sounds like he's got some cotton in his mouth or something.
Flying Dorito would have been such a. That was it. That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
That's it.
Jesus Christ!
Inside your house at a protest.
Hey, you're not allowed to
wow.
be happy to be here. You can't be happy. You can't be proud.
Yeah, no being happy. If I see a single haha or a smile in the chat, you're fucking banned. You're getting out of here. If I see a single ha-ha.
MAGA Kraka Mike replies, they hate Peanuts because he's a proud American. Leftists are sad, miserable people. And Leova Nova says, proud American is flexing tax money spent on shitty weapons of mass destruction and that homeless people have newer iPhones. And MAGA Kraka shows their account based in the Philippines. And Leova says, you gotta be 40 years old. He then tweets out this clip with the caption, Hasan on the burnt peanut.
I just know you're fucking with me. All right, pal. Even if you did have internet, there.
Bro, this is the number one streamer of Israel. Israel's finest. I saw one of.
Damn, I just realized that's how I look when I make a joke and then I wait for chat. Is chat laughing? You got to fill it in with your own laughs. If you're not making yourself laugh, was it even funny?
His fucking takes.
Like, look how sad he looks after he makes the joke and then looks at chat.
Israel's finest.
Started nibbling on his finger again.
I saw one of his fucking takes. I saw one of his takes about like America #1, and it was awesome.
Dude, we've got homeless people on the streets of LA living in tents with a newer iPhone than your president. USA, USA, back to back with what you mean.
It's fucking awesome. Hell yeah, baby. I said we have an elite pedo cabal running the government so their pedo friends can extract super profits from the global south so that we dominate militarily.
It's old. They exhausted all anti-Semitism creativity. Is that what you meant to put? Creativity? Everything else about Peanut is fine. I just hate his voice. Fair enough. That's kind of the main thing though, right?
The wealthiest nation on earth. We're close to 1 million people sleep outside every night. We are a cruel joke. We can do better. Spiritually, Dr. Kid Inspect. No, this is the new version. That's what I'm saying. This is like the patch notes version where Israel did its very best to be like, let's get
The Dr. Kid Inspect got me. Like, it took me a second. Dr. Disrespect. He's Dr. Kid Inspect. Saying that in itself feels kind of weird. Yo, ain't that Dr. Kid? Like, you don't feel odd saying that?
disrespect, but without the kid diddling. That's what it is. You entertain yourself. Your coworkers entertain themselves with burnt peanut. The most coworker entertaining content creator out there, designed in an Israeli laboratory.
Bluesdank replies, if this clip is blatantly obvious that Hasan is a grifter and nothing more, then I don't know what is. Brother has a problem with a peanut. Shaggy870 replies, saying, I swear it's like a clockwork every time, with a meme of a guy pointing at himself in the mirror saying, get in there and make it about Israel. Cam SMH says, keep in mind, one party smiles, jokes, and laughs for 8 hours on stream, and the other has to grift politics, scream at tweets, and yell at his viewers when they don't defend him. I'd be salty AF if I was Hasan too. Peanuts has 100 times the fun and makes more money doing it. And iRoth replies, are you claiming Republicans don't grift, scream, and yell? And the Lich Doctor says, no, that was literally not what he wrote. He said peanut, not Republicans. Nice try though, A+ for effort. And iRoth replies, circling the part of the tweet that says one party smiles. And Cam says, one party as in the two parties in the video, Hasan and Peanut, not Republican or Democrat. Tyler quote tweets the clip by saying, this dude stubs his toe and blames Israel. And Hasan replies, this your first tweet about Israel? Nice, man. And Optic Hitch replies, dude, what the fuck did I just listen to? And Tyler says, what happened to his brain is what our parents said would happen to our brains if we watched too much TV or played too many video games. It's just mush up there. And Nikki Nays replies, I don't even like Hasan, but he was clearly joking. It's telling that your first tweet in this situation, however, is this one. Never in your 15 years on Twitter have you tweeted about Israel or their occupation of Palestine that has existed since 1967.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. It's just so, you can't. Oh my god. You can't be like, well, I'm just joking about Israel. Like, so you don't think it's like a serious topic then when like, because it ends like, because I'm fine to say that it's a joke. Be like, okay, you're joking. Cool. You're just fucking around. you guys can't then, I know this isn't Hasan directly, but you can't then try and like switch it into like, well, now you care about Israel and like, it's just fucking so stupid. It's so dumb. This is literally that meme about get in there and make it about Israel. Like, you could just leave it at, it was a joke. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was banned off Facebook for Israel posting in 2016. It'll happen. It'll happen.
And Squillos replies, probably because he's a gaming channel. He's making fun of Hamas Diddy Piker. That's it. Touch grass. And Nikki says, him being a gaming channel is totally irrelevant to anything I said. All I did was point out an irregularity. I'm not asking him to speak on anything because I don't care. Just thought for his first insert into the topic being that, it's kind of weird. And Squillos says, his insert is just making fun of Hasan for blaming everything on Israel. You're the one putting the thought in your head that he's picking sides. Val J. Hunter replies to Tyler's original quote tweet by saying, I'm more surprised that this burnt peanuts came out of nowhere.
Well, if you don't actually have a staunch opinion on Israel-Palestine, then why do you even care about random internet drama? Like, that's basically the energy these people are coming at it with. Like, yeah, some people aren't as invested, and they probably should be more invested into the conversation and understand like the ins and outs a little bit more. And like, that's a conversation to have, but that isn't going to be accomplished by telling them like, good job, this is your first time talking about it. Because again, it feels like you were just proving his point. 3 steps ahead. I'm 100 steps ahead. Oh. iDubbbz instantly outplayed by high IQ winner Ethan Klein. Should I outplay Ian by doing Wordle right now?
And got very popular. And Tyler says he didn't. He's been around on Tarkov for a hot minute. He just blew up once Arc Raiders started exploding. Ruben Delight says, no one bats an eye at Peanuts being racist, joking about Middle Easterns all being poor and underdeveloped, but Hasan makes a lighthearted joke about that being great propaganda for Israel, actual evil country, and y'all got issues? And Level Up a Mushroom says, he said third worlder, never said anything about Middle Eastern countries. You interpreted that yourself, but pop off queen or something. And Ruben says, crazy you're getting likes for this, broski. The first 2 seconds of the peanut clip that are cut off say, greetings from Afghanistan. But yeah, keep thinking you had something there. And Cruelty replies, yeah, Afghanistan. Famously known for being very developed and not ran by the Taliban. Hasan then quote tweets at Tyler by saying, I was joking, but you seem to be quite upset for some reason. And Wabdol replies to this meme of someone.
This dude stubs his toe and blames Israel. You seem to be quite upset for some reason. Hasan, this doesn't work if the guy isn't actually upset. Like, you have to have like all caps or like clearly an angry tone. This dude stubs his toe and blames Israel. I was joking, but you seem to be quite upset for some reason. Is this not also a joke? Is this not quite literally a joke as well?
But you seem to be quite upset for some reason. And Wabdol replies to this meme of someone saying, hey guys, look how retarded I am. Her. And someone replies saying, fuck off retard. And the original guy says, joke's on them. I was only pretending.
I have actually referenced to this comic before in reference to Asmongold, because I feel like that's like the energy that Asmongold tries to put out of like, you're presenting yourself as a certain way, as if that is a gotcha to like you are not Andy Kaufman, you are not Sacha Baron Cohen, you are not like these great, you are not Dax Flame, you are not one of them, you are not this character that is going to pull the veil away and be like, haha, I got you.
One replies saying, fuck off retard. And the original guy says, joke's on them. I was only pretending. Milfsky says, people say they're joking when they're getting cooked. And Evan replies, or, when they're joking. Calling something Israeli is a common meme. Kaser Kinney replies to Hasan by saying, I wonder why people would be unable to tell you were just joking. Do you say things like that often?
Well, again, it can just be a joke if you are not also making all of these claims against Israel, which again is fine. But it's like, you can have criticisms of Israel. You can also have jokes about Israel, but don't it's just so ridiculous to try and because he does this with other topics too, where it's basically just jumping to whatever side fits the narrative in the moment. So if I want it to be that I'm joking, well, I'm joking. But if I want to call you out for not actually talking about this serious discussion, then it's actually a bit more important because you're making it important, not me. I don't know. It baffles me, truly.
E-Man says, was you blaming Israel on you shocking Kaya a joke too? You blame a lot of stuff on Israel as jokes. Maybe you should be like Nick and just say Jews. Take the mask off, Hasan. Chrissy replies to Hasan by saying, or, hear me out, Tyler was also joking.
Because also, that's the thing too, right? Like, when people are joking, the joke more, like, I see people joking and then end up getting swept up in the like alt-right type of stuff when they joke about the Jews. They joke about the Jews, and sometimes it is a joke. And it's a poor taste, but they are trying to make a joke. Saying Israel, I feel like adds more of like this current geopolitical bent to it that feels less like a joke coming from a geopolitical commentator. Political commentator in general, but you get this specific, has analyzed this specific issue to make light of it, even when you make criticisms of Israel of like giving spyware to the US. And it's like, it's clearly like, come on.
Ali replies to Hasan by saying, you said he was designed in a lab and this mofo took that seriously. Ivan says, holy shit, entire Mossad agency in your comment section. Burnt Chapel replies to Hasan, you weren't joking. Your literal last thought on this planet will be about Israel, lol. Lame ass boy. Yeet posts that Hasan says he was just joking about the burnt peanut being spiritually Israeli and Israel's #1 streamer after Wildcat called him out for always using that crutch. Piker then asks why Wildcat seems upset and questions the lack of tweets from him about Israel. And Aratora replies, didn't you know? Anytime someone disagrees with Hasan, it's obviously because they're an Israeli asset. Otherwise, they'd always agree with Hasan. And they'd be a hater of Israel just like Hasan and his clique. Leroy Lemon attaches this tweet that they made in the caption lol, and it's them saying if he stubs his toe, if he shocks his dog, if he gets a parking ticket, if Asmongold gets more views, if he runs out of chicken nuggets, if someone cuts him off in traffic, if he gets triggered by his own chat, if he gets snubbed a mayoral victory party, if he gets an STD from sleeping with a minor, it's Israel's fault. Kazahana quote tweets Yeet's summary by saying, the backpedaling is crazy. We all know Hasan wasn't joking. As soon as everyone starts to shit on him, all of a sudden he reverts to it's just a joke, bro. And Spiritual Neat replies, he was clearly joking. You guys are thick. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko, Salsal, Kodos Band.
Well, again, it was clearly a claim veiled as a joke. That's like the whole idea. He says things that he believes, but uses them in a way where he can hide behind it being just a joke. What's this?
Epstein's brother.
From Too Lazy to Try, Joe Rogan gets into heated debate over the Epstein files. What do you think Joe's saying? Do you think Joe's going, they're not real? That shit about Trump is bullshit. Because I did hear Trump at one, or not Trump, Joe, Mr. Rogan, at one point talking about how Epstein tried to meet with him, because Epstein had met with like a bunch of other comedians too, but he had tried to meet with Joe and Joe said no. Joe denied it. Joe looked him up and was like, no, I'm good. Wait. This is more important.
Is because...
Are they debating right now?
He could call in and just say the N-word nonstop, and we would be screwed, right? We would be screwed, right? Our stream would be taken down. Our channel would be banned. That is why you have the vet. No, I'm saying Destiny is a good debater because he will answer the questions. He didn't avoid any of the questions, right?
Okay, I think he's just challenging him to the debate. I don't think they're debating yet.
Epstein's brothers.
He got me with that one. I thought they were going to be talking. And honestly, I mean, someone coming on your channel and screaming the N-word a bunch of times more than likely won't get your channel banned. It might get you a community guideline strike, possibly. But I would question that even happening if you deleted the live stream right after. Yeah, he's calling Legal Mindset out for a debate. It just said live debate here. First time seeing your stream. Jumped in for an actually informed take on the outcome of Nazi wartime experimentation, subsequent American scientific advances via paperclip. Well, I hope I could help. I know that's, we come here for the big stuff. We stay for the fun. That's the truth. That's what the whole point of being here. This isn't just goofs and gaffs. This is edutainment at the end of the day. I was about to say fun-utainment, and I was like, that doesn't make, that's redundant and also a complete bastardization of what I was trying to say. But Joe Rogan gets into heated debate over the Epstein files. Let's see.
Epstein's brother's examiner said that that he broke his hyoid bone, and the hyoid bone is not usually broken in hangings, only in strangulations. Actually, it is broken in hangings, particularly for older people.
Broken in 3 places.
Yeah, and that, I mean, and that's like,
and it's low on his neck.
Yeah, and that happens.
Also, the lady who was the guard deposited money into her account.
I saw that, but that doesn't. What does that mean?
Okay, well,
I mean, there was
she
some
also
money.
Googled his name before he died.
All that's totally
okay, but
it's like, let me Scooby-Doo
why
it.
are you dismissing?
Well, I'm sorry, Joe. That one, the other stuff, there are some claims. Like, I'm pretty sure prisoners that were with Epstein, aren't they claiming that they heard like the guards talking about killing him or something? I think I saw something like that. But just them searching a high profile, like criminal, like it just doesn't. I'm like an inmate in their facility, in their block, even them looking up that person when they're like a high profile inmate makes sense to me. And also, what would be the purpose of Googling him as to aid in the conspiracy? That's my question. Like, how would it aid in the conspiracy just to Google him? Does that mean they didn't know what he looked like already? They didn't know the story about him? They knew they were going to do this thing, but they wanted to learn more about him, so they decided to use a work computer. That part seems kind of like a nothing burger. Search history and 5 $11,000 deposits. See, the deposits, that seems to be a little bit more interesting to me. I want to know what the search history actually is, though, because if it's just searching his name, yeah, I guess just research more about him. That's what I mean, though, is to aid in the conspiracy, that doesn't make any sense. It would make more sense that that is almost just like a separate, innocuous thing that happened that wasn't a part of this greater conspiracy, even if, like, we are, because honestly, from what I've seen, I'm kind of swaying towards they either killed him or maybe he's not even dead. I feel like that's even a possibility at this point. Shit's too crazy, too intense, too deep. And I don't know. I think, again, it's like we get hung up on these little things. It's the same way Joe Rogan was talking about Trump's shooter. Why was all the silverware missing? I think Whitney Cummings said that too. Why was all the silverware missing at his house? Why didn't he have any silverware at his house? What would be the purpose of removing the silverware? Can you explain that part to me? Because if we can establish the purpose of that, then we can move forward to the next step of the conspiracy. That's like the problem with a lot of conspiracy theorists is that they get hung up on these facts that aren't actually like materially relevant to the actual case. And maybe those material facts are actually planted to be like a diversion from the actual conspiracy at hand. So again, it's like, that's why you have to like look at things intricately as well as holistically and see the greater picture as well.
I don't understand why you're dismissing this. Because if you're going to
dismissing it, I'm saying,
well, hold on, you are.
Yeah, but Epstein tried to kill himself. I don't think there's any doubt about that, right?
I don't know if there's, I've never seen him say it, but I do know that he said that guy tried to kill him and they found him unresponsive 18 days before. He said that guy tried to kill him.
And couldn't he have lied about that?
That guy was trying to get money.
Couldn't he have lied about that?
All right, so it looks like Joe Rogan finally realized he actually can push back against his guests. You know, for a while it felt like he was on cruise control, and when he was asked about his Cash Patel episode, he even said, "What am I going to do, push back?" But recently, he hasn't shied away from arguing with his guests, which makes this podcast so much better. Like, some of the best episodes were some of the most contentious ones. So there is still a little bit of hope for Joe, especially because now he's also really starting to question Trump's decisions, like attacking Iran. He definitely isn't happy about that. In the beginning of this episode, he was talking about it with his guest, Michael Schellenberger, who was trying to convince Joe that Israel's influence had nothing to do with Trump striking Iran, which is wild. Like, the gaslighting is off the charts.
She was specifically Googling if there was any news on him 30 minutes before he was found dead. She's also seen on camera bringing orange linens to his wing. And see, that, again, here's another, like, theory that I don't see posited enough, where how do we know that it's even, like, because here's the thing. I'm willing to believe the deep conspiracy that runs through, like all these powerful people that could get something like this done to get him killed. I could also believe the guy on suicide watch was basically like, someone just walked up and was like, "Hey, make it quick," and then, like, you know, gave him the stuff to do it. I could believe that too, but again, it's like there's clearly something that went on here that we are not getting the full story about. Like, there's clearly something, and so we need, like, that full, like, all the information.
Here, I mean, we have senators saying Israel made us do it. Marco Rubio basically said Israel got us involved. Trump said Jared Kushner, who's really close with Netanyahu, told him to attack. But Michael Schellenberger thinks Netanyahu doesn't have any influence on Trump. It's incredible.
But I think Trump is in charge.
I remember Virginia Guffrey thought he did kill himself because he couldn't live in prison, so I'm not sure what to believe. She planted the doubt on me. See, I think that when you think about Epstein's personality and the way that Epstein was, like, he wanted to present himself as this larger than life character that, you know, was kind of debonair and sly and slick, and people liked him, but they knew that don't want to get on his bad side because he does this terrible stuff. Like, he wants to be this villain. And so once the villain gets caught, their story is over. So I could understand at that point him taking his own life. Like, I could understand that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's clearly an issue with the timeline and, like, how he got the materials to be able to do it. Stuff like that, where it's like, I don't know, we need more information for sure. But I do think that that's even a possibility, that someone in the jail could have literally, someone in the prison could have literally just been like a lone actor and done this, and it isn't some huge conspiracy. I'm more leaning to those people were probably paid off to do it something, but even then, maybe they just gave him the materials. Who knows if they're even the ones who got their hands dirty. It's all confusing, and there's clearly just something that they might be trying to cover up.
Like, he's making these decisions. There's nobody.
Plus, he was cut off from Fortnite. If you can't play Fortnite in prison, you could probably get a TV. They sometimes have them. You could purchase from the commissary. But I don't know.
Behind him, there's nobody pulling for all of that. You know, the Russians or whoever, or these now the Israelis. You know, it's just he's clearly. I mean, Elon gave him $250 million, and he still. He didn't give him even the electric car credit, like Trump is in charge, like I think that's one of the big lessons from this.
Which just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
Honestly, this pisses me off more because this shows me that Joe Rogan isn't compromised and has this whole time just been a dumbass. It really was all the alpha brain and like those. He froze his brain with too many ice baths. It wasn't just his nipples that got that hard. His brain became like just a solid block at some point.
Well, but he said he's against endless wars.
What I'm hearing Destiny debated Taylor Lorenz. I did see a clip from that where at the end he asked her about Collargate and she was just like, here, let me see if I can pull up that clip, actually. That's pretty funny.
Well, they're all
against endless wars.
Listen, man, they're all endless. Did you ever hear Rumsfeld talk about Iraq when it first happened?
Tell me.
They were talking about like 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy was just getting cooked in the comments. All the top comments are like 5 minutes in and it's clearly apparent who this person's handler is. Is this guy on Netanyahu's payroll? It's gotten to a point where I don't even trust anyone that comes on here. And I used to trust this guy, but now he sounds like Kash Patel. And maybe they should send someone whose last name doesn't end in Burger or Stein to tell us Trump's making decisions on his own. So nobody was buying this BS, and Joe wasn't either. He started pressing him a little. And at one point, Michael says, well, they don't have anything on Trump, which is kind of a weird thing to randomly say. And Joe's like, well, how do you know that? So even Joe seems to think that Israel possibly has blackmail on Trump. And Michael says this stuff like it's an absolute fact that Israel isn't influencing him and there's no dirt on him, which kind of makes it seem like there are people that told him this or there are people that want him to say this. But Joe is not going along with it, and he even communicates with Trump and has been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in most situations. But with this, he is not on board.
Trump's doing what he wants to do, and we should...
You really think it's that simple? Trump's doing what he wants to do. That's
Yes.
it?
Yes.
You don't think people are influencing him? Because there's a lot of war hawks around him, right? There's a lot of people that want this and
Tucker
have
was in
for
there,
a long
right?
time.
I mean, Netanyahu's in there, but then Tucker was in there a bunch.
But do you think
making the case against it?
Tucker has the kind of influence that Netanyahu has?
Well, I mean...
Definitely not in terms of like military influence and like governmental influence, no. But social influence, social impact and stuff, I would say that Tucker Carlson is probably able to sway more people than Netanyahu is at both of their current standings. Just because it's like if you support Netanyahu, you are part of a very slim group, I suppose. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Maybe there are a bunch of people that just love the big Yahoo. Couldn't be me. Destiny asks a journalist the Hasan question, Taylor Lorenz. They needed to put this right here. That needs to be in this spot. But okay. I don't know why they needed to say a journalist when they could have just put Taylor Lorenz if they're going to write it in the title anyways. But yes, here's what Destiny ended the debate with.
At least I got my 10-minute spiel about digital rights in at the end. So
You did
it was
indeed.
all
Wait,
worth
okay.
it.
One final spicy question. Do you acknowledge
What?
that Hasan was shocking his dog to keep it in place on stream the entire time? Or are you a shock collar denier?
I've seen the collar and it was not a shock collar, but
Ooh, major L.
I think he loves Kaya and he treats Kaya very well. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of people in LA don't treat their dogs well, but I know this is going to divide the internet for all time. So I will just remain neutral on it.
You didn't remain neutral. You took a stance saying that he didn't shock his dog, and you're stating that you saw the shock collar yourself. And so it's been basically proven. I mean, here's the thing. I'm just still like, this is just so ridiculous at this point. And also, you don't need to do all of the all the qualifiers afterwards, being like, well, and a bunch of other people are actually really bad with their dogs, and he's actually really good with his dog, and his dog loves him a lot. Just be like, nah, he didn't do it. That wasn't him. Yeah, she doesn't have her camera on. Well, she doesn't need it. Also, I don't like that she has this as her profile picture. I'm pretty sure my friend had this as his profile picture for like years. Liar, liar, plants for hire. But let's continue with this Joe Rogan stuff. I am surprised that he is pushing back like this, but it more so makes me question all of the stuff that he said prior, because I'm wondering, like, was it just this like cognitive dissonance of like not wanting to be wrong and like not willing to see the alternative side? Like, it is confusing.
I mean, I guess if you just base it on the outcome, then the answer is no.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. I think he listens to everybody, but I just don't think it's Russians aren't behind him. Israelis. I mean, Trump is. Look what he's been through. I mean, he's got where he is. There's no way he's gonna. They don't have anything on him. That's
How
my
do you know
view.
that?
I don't think they have anything on him.
But how do you know
behave
that?
that way?
What do
Well,
you-
he
in what
could,
way?
but I'm not. We don't see any evidence for it.
Well, you wouldn't see any evidence until it broke out, until
Sure.
they released it.
Yeah, and we'll get it. I'm sure we'll get into Epstein, but I mean, I just think when you don't have evidence of something, then you can't assume that it's happening. I haven't seen any evidence. I've seen evidence that Trump is fully independent. With it, particularly this case of Elon, surprised me. I would have thought at a minimum you'd give your largest campaign contributor the one thing he wants.
So Trump might have to give Joe a call and get him in line, or maybe Trump can make another Truth Social post about Joe. That'd be hilarious. So shit really hit the fan towards the end of the episode when they started talking about Epstein. This guy, it seemed like, was trying to do damage control over it, and Joe was
it's safe to dunk on Trump now on the right. That's the clear difference. Yeah, I guess it's like they're starting to see through the facade. There's still that strong base that's like, have faith in Trump. You need to let him do what he's going to do. And it's like, would you say that about any other president? Like, why would you say that about this president? Genuinely. You should not just let the president do what they're going to do and hope for the best.
Was not having it. He was getting really frustrated with him because he was trying to downplay like every aspect of it.
But yeah, they are getting a little bit more, they are pushing back a little bit more and more each day on all of the stuff that Trump's doing. And it's always just ignore, and then appeal to the base. But that base does feel like it's ever shrinking. And so we're waiting for these, we're waiting to vote. You know what I mean?
Of it, you know, Epstein's death, the files, his ties to intelligence, and how much the people who still hung around him after he's first arrested knew about him. And he compared this to the Me Too movement, and he said he's disappointed about all the innocent people who are getting caught up in this.
Description where he was talking to this woman, where she said, "I'm investigating a story about an island where they bring children for sex," and he goes, "She almost had a heart attack when I told her that person is me."
Well, he was talking about the rumors and gossip about him, but he wasn't saying that he's bringing children to his island for sex.
But that is what he said. But if you look at the
he
text,
said they're talking about me.
No. She said, "I'm doing a story on a guy who brings children to his island for sex," and he says, "She almost had a heart attack when I told her that person is me."
The person that my
You're
interpretation
being charitable.
Of it, I'm not. Well,
but you're being charitable because that's not what the text says.
Look. Let's back up to the intelligence.
But wait a minute. Why would you dismiss
we can pull it up and look at it. I just think. I think what we see from
No. Don't ask young Jamie to pull it up. Jamie will pull it up and will dunk on you. He dunks on Joe.
The files. And I think Mike Benz has sort of pointed out the ways in which Epstein might have been a contractor or a financier or somebody hiding money for the intelligence community. Beyond that, I don't see any evidence that he was doing much for the intelligence community, if at all.
But you're only getting emails, and only half of the email. Why would you redact the name of the person who sent you a torture video if you're not trying to protect?
Joe is holding frame here. He's fucking mogging this dude. I forgot what his name is already. This other guy. The Moggy.
Like the powerful person.
Yeah, that's the Sultan. Is that right?
Okay, but that was someone had to just figure that out.
I mean, look, the redactions are sloppy.
But that's no. That's evidence that you're trying to protect a powerful person.
Well, but they didn't, though, in a lot of cases.
But they did right there.
Yeah, I mean, the redactions. I mean, they were making them. I mean, it was like.
But
my
they
understanding
redacted
is that
a lot
there was
of powerful people's names.
Yeah, but I mean, look at like we're in the midst. I mean, literally, the people that are being canceled for this, like Peter Attia, these people are like victims of we're in the middle of a complete, moral panic. I mean, we're now it's like Me Too version 2. I mean, people are having to leave boards. I mean,
okay, but a lot of these people were hanging out with him and doing business with him after he was arrested. So this is all post 2008, and it was very public.
Okay, so then, what is our view of people that do the crime and serve the time? I mean, the left view has been that.
Stop right there. He didn't serve any time. Do you know?
He served a year.
Okay, he did not go to jail for a year. You know, he did house arrest.
Yes,
it was a very sweetheart deal.
And Joe didn't bring this up, but he should have mentioned how he turned down a meeting with Epstein because of his first arrest. You know, like a podcaster realized Epstein was sketchy as hell and didn't want anything to do with him, but all these billionaire businessmen and politicians were gladly meeting with him, and they definitely knew about his first arrest. But then, of course, once Epstein got busted again, then they had to lie about their connection to him and downplay it. Like Joe's buddy, Elon Musk, who's trying to get to the island. I mean, if Michael really wanted to make Joe uncomfortable and win this argument, he should have brought up Elon, because then Joe would probably have to make some.
What's up, players?
They have started. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Become a member to support the channel. But go check them out if you want to go get that started, or if you want to help stay with me and finish this off. Stick around. We're almost done with this video, so we'll get through this, and then, we'll call it from there. But I really do appreciate everybody for stopping in. Thanks so much. Let's keep it going, though. Joe Rogan gets into heated debate over the Epstein files. So we're talking about Elon now a little bit.
Some excuse for him. And also Peter Thiel lied about his connection to Epstein to Rogan. You know, he initially said he
Peter Thiel literally looks like he's dying. Like, he looks like a vampire. Like, he's one of those people that takes like adrenochrome, but like he needs his next fix. He's like, I didn't realize the podcast was going to be this long.
He was just getting tax advice and he didn't really know Epstein, but they're communicating quite a bit, and he took an investment from Epstein, which is weird. You know, somebody who's already worth billions of dollars needs $40 million from a sex offender. That's kind of strange. Like, you'd think if you're at that level, why would you want to associate with someone like that? So hopefully when Rogan has on Elon again, he asks him about Epstein, because what did Elon think those parties were like? Obviously,
I honestly imagine Elon wouldn't go, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking like he would have the self-awareness to not go on Joe Rogan, understanding that it would be a shit show for him. But then I remembered it's Elon. He doesn't have any self-awareness.
he heard that Epstein threw wild parties if he was asking about them, but I doubt Joe would push back this much against Elon. It seems like he only argues with people who aren't as important. I mean, Joe loves being friends with Elon, and obviously he's the richest man, so I don't think he'd want to burn that bridge. So also Joe and Michael, they started arguing about Epstein's death.
And even this last few days, there's some new things that people point to, but they actually are not actually evidence of it. They said, you know, Epstein's brother's attorney or Epstein's brother's examiner said that that he broke his hyoid bone, and the hyoid bone is not usually broken in hangings, only in strangulations. Actually, it is broken in hangings, particularly for older people.
Broken in 3 places.
Yeah, and that, I mean, and that's like,
and it's low on his neck.
Yeah, and that happens.
Also, the lady who was the guard deposited.
Okay, I'd also like to know what this is, what he means by this. Yeah, hyoid bone fracturing and hanging are relatively rare, but significantly more common in older victims due to age-related bone calcification. While rare in young people, these fractures are often occurred in lateral hanging when the ligature is below the jawline, resulting in greater horn fracture. So yeah, that also doesn't really seem like it would be accurate for the type of hanging I imagine that would happen in a jail cell. Like, that sounds like the type of thing that would be caused by pressure put onto the bone from, like, you know what I mean? Like, usually the thing when they have like old lynchings is it was supposed to break your neck. Like, that was like the idea of it. So I could understand in that sense it breaking the jaw, like the bone under here, if you were doing it from some kind of a height. But in a jail cell, I imagine that would be minimized quite a bit. So I don't know. That's kind of like that's still up in the air, regardless of you saying it could happen.
Money into her account.
I saw that, but that doesn't. What does that mean?
Okay. Well,
I mean, in other words,
she also Googled his name before he died.
All that's totally
okay. But
it's like, let me Scooby-Doo
why are you dismissing? I don't understand why you're dismissing this. Because if you
why are you laughing about it too? I don't know. Let me Scooby-Doo it.
I'm not dismissing it. I'm saying.
But hold on, you are.
Yeah.
But hold on, you are, because if you do have a guard, and all of a sudden this guard acquires several payments. She made several deposits. One of them was $5,000 just 10 days before he died, and then the cameras are cut. Okay, and then they mysteriously don't pay attention to the cell of one of the most important defendants of any case, any gigantic public case involving.
Okay, so then we agree we don't.
I guess that's true. Like in the case of convulsions or something. I guess that's true, because asphyxiation can result in like different types. Like there are different outcomes from asphyxiation at times. So I guess that's true. But again, I think that, like I said, I think that my theory is still pretty. It's hard to argue against, given the evidence, that at the very least, it sounds like someone aided him in committing suicide. Again, at the very least, that's what seems like is probably apparent.
We don't know.
Yes, but you're dismissing these major factors of him being in a cell with a contract killer, him saying 18 days before the guy tried to kill him, them finding him unresponsive, that someone tried to strangle him 18 days before.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just you can make a case either way. Is my point. You can make the case that he was murdered.
You
make the case that he was
can, but at
suicidal.
a certain point in time, when enough circumstantial evidence, it's fucking weird. Like the cameras being down, the guards being asleep.
But the cameras were down. I think don't quote me on exactly, but they weren't down like that day before or something. They were down for a while before. And the security guards fall asleep all the time.
Epstein told officers that Taglioni, cellmate, had tried to kill him and that had been harassing him. Taglioni claimed he had been asleep and woke up to see Epstein with a string around his neck.
Right.
Does that make fucking sense?
Well, yeah, actually, but Joe, just to so
he says
you,
the
if
guy
you want to
tried to kill him.
And if Epstein, and the result of this is that Epstein doesn't have a cellmate, right? So Epstein doesn't want to have a. If you want to kill yourself, you don't want a cellmate. So you
If
can
you
interpret
want
the same
a
set
guy
of. You can
to go
interpret the same
back-
amount of facts.
If you want to got a guy to go back and finish the job, you shut the cameras off and you open the cell and you let this guy kill him.
But they
And
shut
that's
the
why there's
cameras
no-
off when they shut the cameras off, though.
It doesn't matter. There's no.
it does matter.
There's no
They
video
did because the machine
video,
it
even the
broke.
video that's there has been edited. The one
camera
video
broke.
they show of the outside of the cell.
It wasn't the camera, bro. Someone went in and looked in like the metadata on Premiere Pro and saw that there was like it seemed to have been edited in some way. Like they actually did like a I forget what you call that. Where they did like an analysis of the metadata and stuff. And I don't know if that's accurate. Maybe I don't know enough about metadata, but that's the way that it was presented when I saw that.
A minute's missing from it.
I mean, there was a huge investigation of this by the Inspector General. So the number of people that would have had to been involved in this conspiracy and cover-up is very large, and it's a large number of people who are in this job to be do-gooders. And so maybe there will.
Okay.
So maybe there was some evidence that will
They're
come
not
out.
in the job to be.
Oh yeah, they are.
Sometimes they're in the job to be do-gooders. Sometimes.
Yeah, there are multiple minutes missing. Their original claim was that it randomly cuts out 1 minute every day or something. And that wasn't true. It was like there was a bunch of aspects where it's like they lied multiple times. So like how can you expect us to just believe the narrative?
They're influenced by very powerful figures that want a particular result. Does that not happen?
But we underestimate.
But hold on a second.
yeah.
Does that not
Of
happen
course,
in the
of
real
course,
world?
of
It
course,
does,
yeah.
right? And wouldn't you imagine if you're dealing with multiple billionaires that may be compromised by the evidence that this guy's going to relay in a trial, that would be one of the times that they would want to exert that kind of influence?
It's possible, and like I said, in our piece we wrote it's possible, but I think at this point we don't know. I don't think we have the evidence either way.
So it's good to see Joe isn't falling for some of the Epstein apologists and isn't afraid to call out some of his guests and Trump now. You know, at least he calls out.
Honestly, Epstein apologists is the best way to put it. That's all they are at this point.
Trump a little bit, and it's always entertaining whenever he gets into an argument with his guests. You know, it kind of feels like an old episode of JRE because some of those old episodes, it seems like he wanted to get into arguments, like with Steven Crowder, Candace Owens, or Dave Rubin. Those were classics. That's what made the show great. So there's still a little bit of hope for him. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comments. And I just posted a video on Patreon about an argument Joe had with Steve-O, and also the time Steve-O snapped at me. He got all pissed off at me. That was hilarious. I also talked about the SNL controversy.
Steve-O snapped at Too Lazy to Try?
And I just posted a video on Patreon about an argument Joe had with Steve-O, and also the time Steve-O snapped at me. He got all pissed off at me.
That's pretty interesting. Come on, Steve-O.
That was hilarious. I also talked about the SNL.
But yeah, I really do appreciate it. Everybody that stopped in. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Become a member, because we got more members content on the way. More stuff coming to you. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and this is Captain Quasar signing off.